Panasonic S1H has been a beast of a camera in the market recently. This camera came out and just kind of showed everybody who was boss when it came to the video market. Panasonic has packed a ton into this camera. Here are my 3 main reasons why you should consider buying a Panasonic S1H. Aside from the heavy hitter specs that we're already aware of, like the 6K 10-bit, the flip-out screen, and the fact that this is by far the most professionally equipped small camera that you can find anywhere on the market, at least when it comes to video production, that is. I mean, Netflix actually approved this camera as an acceptable A camera for their productions, which basically makes this the only camera on that list that's available for less than $7,000. But yeah, aside from that, there are still some other things about this camera that you should consider to be big wins. Number 1, low light performance. Now, I tested this camera out specifically against what I think is one of the best low light cameras on the market right now, and that is the Sony a7 III. In fact, I think the only thing that's better than the Sony a7 III that's on the market today is still the Sony a7S II. I'm looking at you, Sony. Where's the a7S III? Either way, when we compared the footage between the Panasonic S1H and the Sony a7 III, we found some really interesting results. In most of our extreme low light situations, the Panasonic S1H and the Sony a7 III performed almost identically. The only thing to keep in mind is that when you're going apples to apples as far as what the ISO numbers say, it seems that the Sony is cranking up that gain a little bit higher, so you're getting a brighter image at ISO 25,600 than you would out of the Panasonic at the same ISO. However, when I boosted the exposure in post on the S1H in order to match the exposure of the Sony, it showed that we are getting basically the same kind of results off of these two sensors. Now, in order for me to test this in a way that felt like it was apples to apples, I actually dumbed down the codec on the S1H to kind of match what the Sony can do. So the S1H for these tests was shooting at the 420 8-bit 4K, which basically matches what the Sony a7 III can do. And really the results were impressive. They were about the same as the a7 III. So that's a big thumbs up. Low light? Check. Number 2, the IBIS. In-body image stabilization. Now, Panasonic has been known for a long time to do really, really well with their in-body image stabilization. This camera is no exception. The Panasonic S1H has probably the best IBIS that I've ever seen on any camera, especially in a full-frame market. I was able to get shots that looked like I was walking around with a gimbal with this. I know people say that a lot, but really, the stabilization is insane. And I was not using native lenses, I was using adapted Canon glass that did not have stabilization in the lenses. So this was just the stabilization of the sensor, and it was incredible. And number 3, this is a seriously robust and durable camera body. It's a tank. It's big, it's heavy, it's weather sealed, and supposedly the weather sealing is not affected by the vents for the heat management system or the cooling system. That was a big concern of mine with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K. It's basically the reason that I sent it back was because it had the big vent openings that, you know, to me just looked like asking for trouble. You're gonna end up getting dust and water and all kinds of crap in there that was gonna eventually fry the camera. Panasonic has a very long history of making very durable technology, so I'm not surprised to see that the weather sealing and all of those kinds of things and the durability are all up to snuff with that. But this camera is sturdy, man. It feels like you could just throw it off a cliff and go pick it up and use it at the bottom. And then one bonus reason that I'd like to just point out is that it's not a terrible stills camera. It's actually a pretty decent stills camera. The images that come out of this camera are very nice. The color is very good. The raw files aren't too hard to work with, and to be honest with you, from a stills perspective, it's pretty good. Not real great on the autofocus, but we'll get to that in another time. So there you go. There are my main 3 reasons why you should go out and pick up a Panasonic S1H for your video production needs. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up, consider subscribing, and check back next time when I give you my 3 reasons why maybe you shouldn't buy this camera. Talk to you later. Bye.